Well, I didn't get to rodeo in high school. I dreamed of it and I played at it and practiced barrel racing and hung out with friends that rodeoed, and their parents hauled them everywhere, and I was extremely, envious of them. And, I just had that yearning. And it's funny because my friends that were rodeoing in high school, they walked away when they were done. And they kind of had burnout. And then I was just wanting to go. And so I did what I could, and I was in college before. I tried to play at it a little bit. I went and I would exhibition, or time onlys in parts of the country, and get to go places like that. But I never really entered because we didn't have the 4D system that we have now. It was all do or die. You had to be the best to win a check. And so that's where I, basically have my knowledge. I want to be in winning a check. And so I didn't want to put forth anything until I had a good enough horse to put the money down on. Well, when I was in college, I met a man named Ronnie Seawalt. He had been to the NFR 16 times as a calf roper. And I was so fortunate to meet him. He didn't have daughters, he had sons. And his son Rusty's made the NFR, I think, 5 times as well. I'm not sure, but he was a great man. And he actually saw the drive in me and saw some stuff in me that and kind of helped me and funneled me in that direction. I was riding extra horses at their place, whatever needed to be legged up, and then I'd play with them on the barrels and then beg them to take me to amateur rodeos and let me go run, and they'd haul me because I didn't have a trailer at the time. And so then from there it went to, he called me one day and I had to get over to his place. He was like really adamant, hurry up, and it was a Saturday. He had gone to the sale and to buy some calves and picked up a horse there and brought it back, and he said, I don't know anything about this horse, but I like how he's bred and I like how he looks. And he offered me a deal where I'd just kind of do monthly payments to pay him out, because I was a poor college student at the time. And I was really fortunate to take that horse, and I trained him, and he started doing well. And and I've had other horses before that, but he was probably the first one I really got to go compete on and play with and have fun. And so from there, I sold that one because I got offered a good deal for him. And I was heartbroken because I bond with my horses, and I'm all about that. And I said, well, what should I do? And he goes, sell them. I'll help you find another, which is what he did. We went on to another horse that to me was too young and too little. And I told him, I said, I don't want a 2-year-old, and I want something, 5, 6 I can go on with. And he said, oh, I think you should get this one. And so I said, well, if you tell me to buy him, I'll buy him. And he put his arm around me that day, and he looked me straight in the eye, and he said, buy him. If you don't like him, I'll buy him back from you in about 2 years or a year, because he liked the way I trained and rode and everything. So that told me right there he really believed in my foundation that I did with my horses. And from there, we found out later, not long after that, that Ronnie had cancer. And so he ended up passing away about a year or so later. And in his memory, I decided I'd step out of my comfort zone of jackpot world and do some quarter horse shows. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to make the world show, the AQHA World Show, which, was a big deal. And so from there, that was my goal that year, and I made the AQHA World Show. Now, I didn't do great at it because I was terrified when I got there. I went, oh my gosh, and all these people I'd been reading about were there, and I wasn't a very tough competitor at that time. And that same year, I won the all-around amateur or novice, novice horse, novice rider from the American Novice Horse Association. And that was it used to take place in Austin. Well, their prize for that was to fly the person who won it out to Vegas during the NFR and give the award at the ladies' luncheon, or the WPRA luncheon. And so here I was in Vegas, and I was so beside myself to be at that luncheon, and they gave me that award. And I'll never forget, I had to stand up and do a speech and everything, and thank God I taught school, because I probably would have been a nervous wreck. But I gave my speech, and when it was all over, one of the girls came down and said, congratulations. And I said, congratulations congratulations to you. You have worked so hard to get here. And she looked me straight in the eye and she said, you can do it too. And I carried that with me for a long time because I never believed in myself enough to go further. And, you know, by the time I made the NFR, I had a kid and, you know, a family and a career and everything else. And so I quit my job in 2000, took a year's leave of absence, and I haven't been back yet. But, you know, I took my daughter, who was 2 at the time, on the road with my mom. And I mean, I look back now and I think, I can't believe I did that. It was crazy. But I just stepped out in faith and did it. And it wasn't easy, and it's still not easy. Every year I've gone on the road, it presents challenges. Nobody hands you anything and says, here, honey, you've made it to the NFR, because we like you. You know, it's because you have to work hard. I drove 45,000 miles a year with my horse and my kid and my mom, and I should say my daughter, that sounds terrible, dogs, everything else, and you know, and I would be gone from home from June through September, and it's a rough road. It's a very rough road, and there's a lot of hardships along the way. Things that happened away from home, I think, are magnified about 20 times, whereas if it was at home, it wouldn't be such a big deal. You call your husband or call somebody to come help you, and out there, you're at everybody's mercy. There's some things that happen out there, but there's a lot of kindness as well. I've met so many people that are, I call them my family, and I stay with them when I go to those parts of the country, and I rodeo out of their homes, and you know, I absolutely love it. I love the road. A lot of people don't, but I love the road.